Time for the business news.
Indeed, Martin Curry, thank you very much indeed. Good morning. Now, last year the government brought back the Right to Buy scheme 30 years after it was first launched. New figures out this morning reveal a surge in the number of aspiring homeowners taking up that right to buy their council home. Launched back in April of last year, scheme gives tenants discounts of up to £75,000 from the value of their home. Right to Buy sales nearly doubled from a little over 1,000 between July and September last year to 2,010 from October and December of last year. So is the scheme as popular as that all seems to suggest, and how does it work? Let's speak to the housing expert, Henry Pryor. Henry, morning to you. I mean, lots of us remember Right to Buy from the kind of Thatcher era. Might be a bit surprised that it's come alive again.
Well, just when you thought someone might have stuck a stake in the heart of Right to Buy, Adam, here we are looking at the results of something that, as you rightly say, was launched back in the 1980s. It was Margaret Thatcher's initiative, and her government that blazed the trail with this has been reawakened by the coalition, and this initiative, relaunched last year by then Housing Minister Grant Shapps, has been carried on, and we've started to see, at long last, some take-up in what is, frankly, a questionable policy. Some people find it very difficult to understand why we're giving significant discounts to people to be able to buy the nation's assets, council house stock, at a time when we've got 3 million people on social housing waiting lists. It's an extraordinary statistic, but indeed there has been this doubling over the last 12 months.
I suppose that the counter-argument, Henry, is that it puts people on the housing ladder, it gives them security. Does it reinvigorate the housing market?
Well, it does very little to deal with the wider housing market and the housing crisis that we're facing across the whole of the UK at the moment, particularly the pressures in London and the South East. There is this argument, as I say, that those who are already in social housing at least have a roof over their heads. There are many, many thousands who would like to get onto the housing ladder, be it in rented accommodation, either in the private or social rented sector, or indeed aspire to owning their own home, where we know that the average age of a first-time buyer is creeping up towards 40. But this is part of the coalition government's strategy to reinvigorate the housing market. We've seen results this morning from house builders Bovis, hot on the heels of what Persimmon were talking about yesterday, where they've produced staggering results, all of which seem to have encouraged the profitability of house builders and developers, but has done precious little, many will say, to solve the national housing crisis.
OK. Henry, many thanks. Henry Pryor joining us live there.